Guys, welcome to the money flow. So, I say this thing all the time. What you think about comes about, what you focus on grows. That's the stuff you think about all the time is kind of what you attract in your life. What we're looking at here is the NASDAQ. We're at 311. High was around 338. Low was around 290, what, 6? Man, that's a hell of a swing, right? So that's a 50, what, $40 swing. So as we think about thought, yeah, man, law of attraction. If you're in my 17steps.com thing, we're doing some videos and I'm trying to get you to work through the book, The Science of Getting Rich. I think it'll make you a better trader, a better investor. Even if you don't agree with all of it, I think some of it will help you. It's just kind of like a way of thinking. And it kind of walks you through this process, right? Which I really do think it helps me trade. I don't know. Maybe I'm just delusional. But the book does say that you can create your own truth. So maybe I've just created my own truth. I don't know. It starts with chapter 1 saying you have a right to be rich. Whatever may be said of the praise of poverty, fact remains not possible to live a really complete and successful life unless one is rich. So the very sentence of the book kind of pisses you off when you first read it because it's saying some brutal shit, man. But the book's definition of rich doesn't mean, it's not like a billionaire. It just means a rich life, abundance. So let's check in since the market's opened here. Shit, let's put this on a live time while I'm talking. And we'll get into this chart of the NASDAQ. But the book is 17 chapters. And it kind of walks you through everything you're going to need. Even for trading, right? I mean, shit, you might be doing bad, right? So chapter 7 is talking about gratitude. Like, how can we be grateful for trading bad? Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's as simple as shit. I'm just grateful I can even trade. Fuck it. Even though I'm doing bad, I'm in it. I'm trading, Even if you're on the worst NFL team, shit, at least you're there, right? I mean, you could start with that. Like, just start with, fuck, I'm alive, right? Fuck it, I'm alive. Right? So that means I can play tomorrow. I only need 3 or 4 100%ers and I'm back in the game. So, I mean, it could be as simple as that, right? But chapter 2 goes into there is a science of getting rich, and what they begin to talk about there is there's patterns. And that's what I talk about with the money flow. And it's not perfect because sometimes you'll see like this shit breaks pattern, man. And there's also gray areas. Talk about this in the boot camp. Like sometimes there's some gray areas. There's this shit, I don't know. Like it's a confusing area. I mean, you just gonna have to rely on a little bit of experience there. Not everything can be black and white. But as I began to study the markets, I began to see, like a lot of people, I bought books, I bought courses, I went to, seminars. We used to drive to fucking hotels to watch a guy on a PowerPoint explain how the stock market moved. Shit you see on YouTube now would be a dude on a board with a fucking marker or an overhead projection. I mean, I'm not that old, but I was 20 years old when I started this. Go back, so I'm 51. That means go back 21 years. We weren't looking on the internet for this stuff, okay? You were at a hotel with a bunch of perverts probably. So, and I began to learn about these things like support and resistance, and you're like, all right, what does that even mean? And and it was these zones where if price had been there before, it's where it tends to go. And that concept is, it's all about charts. So as you look at a chart, there's this idea of support and resistance, right? And then there's levels within levels. This is where shit gets kind of complicated, and it really depends on how you want to look at or how you're going to interpret the chart. This is a daily chart, so each one of these bars is one day. One day, 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 right? Now, there's some people who trade where they're like, that's way too short term, man. You need to back it up. So a guy I'm a big fan of is a guy named Stan Weinstein in the 80s. He kind of turned me on to the 4 stages of price movement, and he looked at a weekly chart. So he'd come over here, go look at the Qs, Q, pull it up. And then he'd go over here and go to a weekly chart where each bar is 1 week. You know what I mean? Each bar is 1 week. You're thinking, man, that's some long-term ass looking at stuff. And it is. That is really long-term. Sorry, I got this new fucking camera stand. I'm still getting to it. Now think about that. Shit don't even look that bad right now. You go to a weekly. Like if you're looking that far out, but most people aren't looking that far out. But even inside the weekly, you'll see the pattern of price movement. You know, you'll see it go sideways. It's really tiny over here. Remember, these are weeks. It'll go up and go sideways, go down, go up, right? Go sideways and go down, go sideways, go up, go side, and then go down, right? And this little pattern will just continue on and on and on. You're seeing it over here, right? Same thing, same thing, same thing. What we don't know, and there's no way of knowing, is how long does that last, you know? Like how long does that go? We don't know, man. That's the hard part. But as I went through this discovery of price, and I'm looking at the markets every day, and I'm looking at I began to realize that, you know, just over time, they like to go up, man. Like, I mean, just do this. Like, take this. So each one of these right here is 1 week, right? So what if we just, God damn it, I'm really not liking this new stance. Right? I mean, if we just connect them, I mean, the general direction's up, right? With a whole lot of chaos in between. And so as I began to take that into account and say, okay, wow. So a lot of things that I'm looking at here, right? Like I just said, that it seems like over time it goes up. But obviously, if you could buy low, that would be very beneficial, right? In life, that would be very beneficial. And if price moves in that pattern, and then what I began to see is, well, maybe it does that on a daily chart. And I'm not the only person doing this. I'm just saying where I started thinking it. And then as I began to research it, and I would see like the same thing where price would move, right? And it would have these extended moves. And I don't, you know, I would have no way of knowing how long is it going to go up or how long is it going to go down. But what I would typically notice is that the downs would be short and, furious. Like it goes down fast, and then it would just drift up and up and up. And I mean, most of markets, most good, and then most stocks follow that pattern. Let's see. And so, you know, when I began this quest of looking, and then we back to the support and resistance, and I began to see that on charts where price would literally, and this is on an index, it works better on stocks, but price would literally go to the same place. Like, look at this, man. Look at this. And that you would have this effect, this price having memory, where you would put in these spots where price had stopped before. Well, there's the concept of resistance, right? So like this area here is now a resistance point, right? And we can actually create one right here while we're doing it. I mean, we got a new one being built here, right? And these are like, you might call it minor. It's inside the big ones, right? The big points are here and here. And so we have resistance level, we have support level. Now this level is confirmed because it's bounced off of it multiple times. But notice over here when we look at it, and this stuff, you know, you got to read on it. Take you a little time to get it. Look at a lot of charts. Some of you be like, yeah, no shit. I know, but not everybody knows that. Often this zone of support was previous resistance. We talk about this in the book. And sometimes it's just uncanny how close it is. It's just fucking amazing. Now, there's gray areas, and there's ways that it can be interpreted. Meaning, I mean, what do you do with all of these right here? You know, that's what throws people off when you get into this. And so we have to have some sort of way that we do it, and some of it takes experience. If you were a really short-term trader, you might You might do it a little different than me, but I'm using a daily chart. I'm trying to catch what are bigger trends. And the way that I'm kind of helping determine this for me is this green line right here. And as you begin to go down this rabbit hole, looking at charts and studying them, and maybe you're looking for some magic, there is no magic formula. All a chart do is just giving you a window into like a visual representation of a company's price movement. Let's look at Tesla. Damn. Come on, man. Why we got to go down today? Every day with the down, down, down. Notice on Tesla. We have our little area here. And what I began to look for, because these pattern, it wouldn't be perfect all the time, right? So what I began to look for, fucking stand, was a way for me to take Stan's stages where price would just move like in this big pattern. He's doing it on a weekly chart. Was could I try to catch this and see this on a daily chart? At least a little, like, does it help at all? And you'll see it. And sometimes it plays out perfect, man. It's amazing. And so I began to use this green line as just like almost like a thermometer. And it's like when price is above it, it's bullish. And when price is below it, it's bearish, The hard part is you're going to get these little spots like this. Above it, below it, above it, below it, above it, below it, right? You see that? And that can be confusing. You see it over here too, right? Above it, below it, above it, below it, above it, below it. These zones of crossing, and if you've ever looked at my newsletter, you'll see the pattern, right? And this is where all this is trying to do is give you some, God bless, I hate this news thing. I'm going to get a new one here shortly. I was trying some different. All we're trying to do is I'm trying to see if I can catch a stock in the midst of this pattern here. And either one, use it to acquire a new position, or two, use it to my advantage to try to add to a position. So let's say I want to build it over time. And I'll show you one that I've been doing that with, the utility stocks. Meaning I know when I initiate a trade where I'm trying to initiate initially stage one or as a trader. Early trading, you want in and out, you're trying to catch the breakout. That's how I've always traded. You want to take trades that are going in the direction you're trying to go. Like you need some sort of confirmation. But the further out you trade, let's say your trading isn't so short term. I'm trying to catch the bottom and sell at a higher price. And so if I can catch price moving, in this pattern, even if I don't get the pattern correctly, I at least try to get it on, the right side of it. So I'm looking for trades on this side of the action here. So I want to see this pattern, have it start coming over. It's got to come over for me to buy a one, right? And now I'm going to show you in utilities where it didn't work, and then started working. Let's go to AAP. Come on, man. Even utilities are red? Damn. Can't catch a break. This is AEP. American Electric Power. Now, this ain't sexy, man. This ain't sexy at all. Unless you're weird like me. So, I've got about, I don't have that big. I got about 10,000 in this trade here. But as we're looking at this chart, come on, Gerald. Started drinking early. Look at this chart, right? Can we identify the pattern? So as I'm looking at the chart, My man says, how do you use an EMA? Man, you use it like an SMA. It's just a moving average. Ain't nothing fancy about it. What the moving average is trying to help me determine is what stage are we in. So if I'm on this side of the moving average and I'm looking at the pattern, which is sideways up, sideways down, sideways, what you're seeing here, that's what's happening here, you know? And so I anticipate price is going to come down, and that's what we see. It's coming down, man. Right? I'm not interested to get in this. Like when this is going, if I think this is under, let's say that I'm wanting to get in this, what I'm waiting for is it to start going sideways. Now, if you'll notice in this circumstance, that wasn't the absolute low. We did it again, right? And so if you look at the pattern from the book, this here, this is the price jumping or breaking above that 20-day moving average, right? So when you're looking at it on a chart, I mean, that's what this was here, right? And then it went sideways. And then we see it break down, right? So you could try to navigate in and out or in and out, in and out. I mean, you could try that. You could try that, right? But what I began trying to do on trades like this, where the company, what is it worth? Let's see, AEP. All right, they're saying $91, right? General consensus. And we're at what? $82 over in here. So what I'm trying to do is to accumulate this, right? And if I look up, remember we were just talking about support and resistance, and I look up on the chart, I have a point up here, man. I have a $92 target. It's been there before. Price has been here. It's been there before. And so what I'm trying to do is capture all of these ones. So I don't know how long it's going to take to get there. And so, I pick up some. This is not how most people are thinking of trading. I'm accumulating some, right? And then when it falls down and I'm looking for that stage one, right? So it moves sideways, moves up, moves sideways, moves down, moves sideways. I want to start buying, right? And so I'm building this on these stage ones so that what? I can sell it up here. But in order to pull that off, this trade off, I got to know that it's worth that. It needs to be worth that somehow. We got to have some sort of fucking catalyst that makes us think that is actually going to go to $92. And you can do that through researching stock. Doesn't mean it's going to go there, but it does mean it could potentially go there. It is actually worth that. Doesn't mean it's going to sell for that. Or maybe it takes 10 fucking years. I don't know. But we know it's been there before. So my point is, it's not an unreasonable target. Now, your target could be, depending on when you got in. Because look, you can see the pattern right here, right? And so when it built this box here and you start buying, we ain't covered it, but price breaking out above the 5-day there. What I'm really looking for is around that pattern, boom, 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 boom. I'd really like to see all of these indicators. We ain't even talked about them. The RSI, right? The moving averages. This is called the TSI. A lot of people don't use it. I still use it. It's an older indicator. The MACD histogram. I'm looking for all of these to line up exactly the same every time I make a move. And I want it to be on something undervalued, right? And I need to have a reason or a catalyst that it can go up there. And being below the 200, you guys know I talk about this thing called the bread and butter. You get these high-paying dividend stocks below this yellow line. Hitting the yellow line is literally one of the easiest trades you can possibly have. but it takes a lot of money and it's a slow mover. What was this? $76, $84. So it's 7,600 into 8,400 if you got out right now. I don't know why you get out right now. But back to where we were talking about support and resistance. Look where it stopped, man. Like right where it's been before. I mean, look, these zones are, this isn't science. Look how close these are, right? This zone here, and it's stopping right there in that zone. Pretty crazy. And I imagine this right here will hold it. This will probably be support. Look, previous resistance now becomes support. Remember, I showed you that on that other chart. Now, maybe not, but this is just what I'm assuming is happening. It's trading above the 20, right? 5-day, 10-day, everything's aligned. It's headed up. How far does it go up? I don't know. I have no idea. Right? But what I need is a way to enter, a way to buy, right? And then, honestly, this could be a first target. I'm pretty convinced it's going to 91, so I'm not so quick to trim it, but that literally is the first target. We talk about this. You look left, price has memory. The first zone it's probably going to get stuck at is usually where we sell some. And then what do? We sell it again when the RSI gets extreme. When these indicators get in those extreme zones I was telling you, all that's doing is giving you, hey, this is probably or possibly a turning point. And we don't know 100%. But whenever it hits these stage 3s, you're going to see that RSI is going to go extreme. MACD is going to be extreme. All the things you're looking at are going to be extreme. It's going to be a common pattern. Doesn't mean it's done going up. But if you're a trader, like you want to buy low, sell high, I think that's what you're supposed to do. And so we need a way of knowing, what does that mean? Well, high could be a previous high, right? So that makes sense. You can explain it and you can do it again and again and again. And so I can go and look at just different stocks. Like, let's look at what old Groupon doing, right? So watch. When this RSI, which stands for Relative Strength Index, all this shit is measuring is the last 14 days of price movement, man. That's it. That's it. It's not perfect. Look, when that shit goes green, it means it's gone really high. It's probably going to stop. If it does it really fast in 2 days, that's rare. Typically what it does is grind nice and slow. The slower it goes, actually, like if you get some shit that just grinds slowly higher, like this, that RSI will barely move. It's measuring the velocity of price, how fast. So if it, boom, rockets, it'll say, hey, you need to sell some. Or don't buy here, dummy. Don't buy when you see that. You're a complete dumbass if you do. Seriously. There is no other word for you in trading or investing. You're stupid. As a general rule, if you're buying that, does that mean it can't keep going? Nope, it doesn't mean that. But that's kind of like you should just walk out in the fucking street when cars are coming. They might not hit you. Why don't you do that? Just walk in traffic. That's what that's saying. Right? Just fucking run a red light. Shit, they might not hit you. You know what I mean? You might make it. But that's not how we want to trade. So you're looking for evidence to your side. This here is either hold or take some off. It ain't add. Okay? Add is when this comes back down. Right? Now, we got two choices. What I'm looking to do is add when it goes sideways, if that's the goal, right? So I want to be a buyer when these things are opposite. I want to be a buyer when this gets into the stream and goes sideways. Here's the problem. Just like when we said going up, it might not be done going down. It might keep going. That's all right. So depending on how much I like the stock, if that's true, and let's say it does this, it goes down, right? And then price puts in a little sideways action. You start nibbling, and then it goes down. puts in a little sideways action, you start nibbling, right? You might say, well, it went against me. Yeah, you could say that. Or you could say you bought both bottoms. Shit. You bought the bottom both times, man. You bought it and went sideways. You bought it. Like the bottom will look like this. It will stop and start going sideways. I promise you. Every bottom ever put in went like that. And so if you're trading or investing in something you think is undervalued, then you can accept the fact, hey, I don't know. I don't know when, how long or when, what. Well, I don't know that stuff. Like I can be a really good card player and I don't know what cards they're going to deal me that day, right? You could be one of the best poker players in the world. You still can only play the cards you get. So you don't know what's coming up. You don't know what Ben Bernanke's going to, Jojo, Powell. You don't know what the fuck he's going to do, or Yoda, Yellen. You don't know what they're going to do or say. Or, our new president, shit, he don't know what he's doing. He's just babbling. So if the president doesn't know what he's doing, how the fuck does you know what's you don't know where stocks are going. So all we can do is begin to just try to create some rules for ourselves and try to find good companies. And what the money flow allows you to do is try to bring some kind of order to the chaos that's going on all around you, man. You know what I mean? That's what you're trying to do. Is it okay to trade above the 200? Yeah, of course, dude. We're trading stages. So let me show you the money flow right here. Look over here, man. What you really, if you get good at this, if you can find these boxes, oh, baby, the boxes. Come on, man. When you start to see the boxes, the top boxes, the top hat always looks the same. RSI extreme. Shit starts to go sideways.